better than me. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the casual stream. Um, this is a casual stream meets Base Talks live or cross Base Talks live, whichever way you want to drop it. Um, Right, really sorry. Yesterday I was actually planning to do a separate stream for that, but last minute had a couple of engagements to take care of, so I've decided to do a bumper one today. I do know Barcelona and Inter Milan is on the TV. I understand if you guys want to be watching that. I have it on in the background. So far, I'm just seeing Lamine Yamal do his thing, but Inter Milan currently got Barca on the ropes, but Barca look like them pressure fighters that's slowly been warming into the game. But yeah, look, that's that. Just want to say hey and what's up to all the people in sort of I guess on the chat on the stream, whether it's Twitter, whether it's YouTube. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, I know it's obviously, like I said, this isn't a regular day, but it's a special day because I've got guests. Well, I've got a guest coming on in about half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. So between now and 9:30. I also might have another very special guest making an appearance in about 10 minutes, 12 minutes. That one's not confirmed. We just have to play that one by ear. But if they do pull up, they've got the link. We'll bring them in post haste. We won't have a lot of time with them. But yeah, a lot to talk about. I mean, look, we've still got, I guess, bits and pieces of the fallout from the weekend just gone that we have to, kind of speak on and address. And I guess part of that ties into, some other stuff to talk about. Plus, we've got, the news about Jerome Miller and the Fabio Wardley fight and the potential replacements there. So we've got Dubois Usyk and the press conference that took place on Tuesday. We've got the George Fox stuff, which all of a sudden seems to be, rubbing people the wrong way. And then, as you can see on the graphic, we have got, City of the Wolves, Fatal Fury, Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero, Teofimo Lopez and Arnold Barbosa, Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez, not to mention Canelo. But you know what, that might have to be a separate I might have to do either another stream for that tomorrow, or maybe you do an episode if I get that. Actually, I probably won't have the time to do that because I'm heading up to Hatfield after work tomorrow, so that one maybe won't happen. And I've got a full diary at work, so there ain't going to be any videos being done in the office, but there will be at least 2 basis picks videos this week. So obviously Friday's video, I think we're going to do Friday's event in one video. I might add the Inoue stuff to that video, but chances are, because obviously there's quite some decent fights on the Inoue card, I think I might just do 3 separate videos for all 3 events over the weekend. You guys know my time seems to always be limited, but I will find time to do that, and everyone in the channel deserves it. Also, for all of you who are tuned in at the minute, like I said, I know there's probably a few people that ain't for right now, but we'll get to that. Thank you to all the new subscribers. We did finally make it over that 2,000 mark. So I am hoping that the next goal will be 5,000 whenever we get there. I'm not expecting that to happen this year, but I'm aiming for it. I will see as far as we can get. But yeah, just jump in the chat, see who's here. Well, I would say early, but I came on a few minutes late because I was dealing with something with one of my cousins, and Barcelona just made it 2-2. Okay, so they definitely weren't trying to come out of this tie. Do you know what's funny though is I actually took this game out of my accumulator just because I wasn't sure which way it was going to go, and I never bet on draws, so it's either a win whoever's going to win. And then when I just thought Inter are going to be a problem, and obviously they went 2-0 up. That's a shame because if I had put it as Inter in there, I would have won the bet just because they went 2 goals up. But I thought better to be safe than sorry, so I took it out. Now I can just enjoy it without having to worry. But yeah, let's see who's in the building. Um, Man like Philip Anson, number one. He's there. He's the OTC of the chat. So shout out to Philip. Man like James, salute to you. Even the base guns up. You know what? This is just a top that I wore underneath my work top. Haven't bothered to put another one on, and they definitely ain't guns at the minute. Like, it's actually embarrassing. I need to actually get back in the gym. Um, yeah, it's a bit shocking. I'm not watching because I'm not a football fan, just a boxing fan. That's okay. Um, it ain't 2005. Barca Inter nowadays is not box office. Yeah, but it's Champions League, so you gotta have it on in the background. Um, Man like Obi Ekeku, shout out to you, UK crew. I hope I said that correct. Blessings, Obi. Miller out with shoulder injury. Um, that's not the official rulings. That's what I'll say. In fact, you know what? I'm not beholden to any to any companies or whatever. So essentially, the way I've understood it is the reason he's out of the fight is because Dimitri Salita is doing shenanigans in the background, basically messing up the paperwork. Miller is outside of contract at this point in time, but I think Salita still has matching rights to any deals or any offers that he gets. So I think it's a situation where he's obviously come in and said, "Look, I want my cut. Otherwise, I'm gonna match the fees. So I want my cut basically." And I think that's the dispute. So I think because of that, they couldn't get everything over the line, and that's ultimately the reason why he's out of the fight. I haven't heard anything about a shoulder injury until just now. So maybe that's the cover story they're using. But you guys know where you heard it first. Apologies, but what does OTC stand for? Oh, but you watch wrestling, Philip. And then Lord of Dunfor's, made it known. The original tribal chief. Shout out to you, Lord of Dunfor. North Bank Brennan in the building. Salute to you, sir. As always, as always. Oh, okay, close, but it's all good. Well, you know what? If you could spell it out for me in the chat, like phonetically, I'll promise I will say it correctly next time. But we'll just call you Obi-Wan for the moment. Off the canvas, and man like North Bank. James, sis. Fabio just posted the shoulder injury. I thought it was the Peds. As of I ain't been on X in a little bit. Let me go and check to see what the state of affairs is over there. Um, let's see where's Fabio now. I don't know. Due to a shoulder injury sustained during training camp, has to withdraw from the. Yeah, I mean that's what they say, but like I said, you guys heard it here first, didn't it? That's. I can tell you who they believe the some of the replacements are gonna be. Now I don't know if the person who told me this wants me to reveal their name, so unless they pop up in the chat and say it's cool, I've heard rumors of who the replacements will be, and I think at the moment the front runner is supposed to be Jermaine Franklin. Um, Talks of Hergovich have been sort of put out there, but he's just coming off of a pretty grueling fight only like what 3 weeks ago, so he probably won't be ready for this bout. Um, I know they was trying to talk to. They wanted to talk to Kubrat Pulev to see if they could get him back in the ring. To see if he could, because it was either Fabio or it's Michael Hunter for him. And then I think they may look at the Hunter fight as well, since he's one of the sort of that final four of the WBA. But from what I've been told, the front runner currently is Jermaine Franklin. But obviously, I don't know how that works with this. Like I said, with this WBA scenario. Bear with me. I need to get another. Backlight. Or let me 1 second, people. Let me see if this works. I need a bit even light. There you go. Alright, tell me, is that any better? Or do I just need to go and get another light? Because my ring light's downstairs. Yeah, that would have to do. There we go. Well, you guys know I'm not this dark really, so let's see what else we got. I'm not hardcore like you. Yeah, but everyone knows Roman Reigns. Who else cried when Eubank Senior came out of the car? I mean, boy, I don't know if you saw the live, but I was definitely had a grin on my face. It's like you couldn't really do it without Senior in some way, shape, or form. But I can't lie. One thing I will say, Eddie was right when he was like, I thought he'd come in the ring walk. Now, if that was the case, if you just see him pull up out the back as Junior's about to walk to the ring, and he comes in that way, that would have been true WWE cinema. And I definitely know that would have. Then Connor might have got knocked out in the fight because his head wouldn't have been in the game. As much as he wanted to see Senior, that shock would have been a different level. Yeah, Queensbury said shoulder replacement to be named in the next 48 hours. I missed that bit. What's the real reason? Yeah, basically Dimitri Salita is causing problems. I think he believes he's got a first refusal or matching rights to the contract for Jerome Miller, and obviously Jerome's trying to keep him out of the deal, and he's like, nope. Because he said, oh, my contract's done. But I think it's also something to do if he still owes money to people from the time when the AJ fight didn't happen, and he's having to sort of pay some of that back, to some of his contracts and stuff have been extended or certain things like that. There's a bit of a mess there. So I'm not saying he may have a little niggle or something like that, but basically this situation, from what I've heard, like, even when they were doing some of the promotional stuff, he was already out of the fight back then. So he was there doing media, and the fight hadn't taken place. The fight wasn't even signed. Like, there was actually nothing down on paper. So yeah, don't ask me where I hear who the sources are. They'd have to make themselves known. I don't mind taking the bullets because I'm still small. James says Ruiz would be a good replacement. He ain't taking this on short notice. I don't think the money on offer was good enough for what Ruiz will want. We know what he's like. They could put Wilder in there for the final nail in the coffin. Yeah, he's got his own fight taking place with the Global Fight Collective. Carme in the building. Salute to you, even though you're an Arsenal supporter, but I won't hold that against you. Okay, right. So now that game is on, let me check to see if one of my guests will be arriving. I'm hoping that they jump on. I mean, if anything, they might can jump on a bit later on. It's funny. I messaged them earlier, and they was like, "Oh," and they called me. It's like, "Oh, I can do it now." Like before I go to you, I'm like, "Broski, I'm at work. I'm going on late." He's like, "Oh, but I'm watching the football." I said, "All right, well, we could do lunchtime, and we'll see. We'll see what it's like at halftime. If you're about, jump on. If you're not, it's cool. We'll sort something out for later on in the week." Um, Man like JC in the building. Salute to you. Salute to you. Yeah, 2-2, and you know what? The game's fun. Um, the game is definitely a fun game. Obviously, Inter going 2-0 up, you thought, oh, might be a bit sticky for Barcelona, but they're at the new camp, so you can never trust them in front of the home fans. Um, is this gonna be a full interview? Any interviews that happen today will be full interviews, Philip. Okay, so while we're doing all that, so yeah, look, final thoughts on the weekend just gone. Uh, you got with Chris Eubank Jr., Connor Ben Sr. coming in, the spectacle. I want to ask, now that we've all had a little time to watch it and digest, do we believe, and bear in mind, I'm talking about just what happened in the ring, okay? So let's try to forget everything else, the event, the spectacle, the drama, will he, won't he, all of that stuff, and everything else, and all of the build up. The fight itself, if you think that so far is fight of the year, I want you to just put in the chat and tell me why. And if not, which fight was a better fight than that one? Because at the minute, I've been thinking, and me personally, I still feel like Callum Smith and Joshua Boatsi and Better Be Even Bivol too could still just edge it in terms of, like, just in terms of the fight. Not so, again, not the surrounding, not the build up, but just the fight itself. However, it's very, very close to being number one for me thus far. We need to have a serious discussion about Yamal. Oh, indeed, we do. Like, it's unfair for a 17-year-old to be that talented. Like, they thought Wayne Rooney was levels, but this guy is. I mean, even Messi and Ronaldo weren't Messi and Ronaldo at 11. He is Yamal. Like, he was Yamal at 16. That's the crazy thing about it. Like, that kid's gonna have some mad 500 million release clause in his next contract, and then the Saudis will come in and pay it. So 100% he is. Man like Veritas Ad Astra in the building. Salute to you. Okay, let's see. No, Boatsi fight was better. That's what Karma says. You know what? I think I agree with you, Karma. In terms of, we're talking about just the fight, I think that's the fight of the year. But it's hard to not give this one fight of the year, just because when you think of everything else, there's a lot more emotion that was attached to it. And obviously, a main event always kind of gets biased over an undercard fight, especially an undercard fight to open the show. So I get it. But yeah, I agree with you on that one. North Bank Bren, not fight of the year. Okay, cool. I'm with you. Both examples that you gave were better. Okay, all right. I appreciate that. Thank you. So at least I'm not on an island on that one, and it's not just me like hating or anything like that. Because I thought the fight was amazing. Let's not get it twisted. I truly enjoyed it. It was a really good fight, but it lacked quality. It was a war, but very scrappy. Very true. There was a lot of sloppiness in there, a lot of missed shots and off balance and whatnot. Based on the fight, I think Bivol versus Better Beef number one. Okay, it's definitely top three so far. I mean, okay, I'll give you that. I hear that. Um, I believe it's fight of the year so far because of all the drama involved. That made everyone anticipate the fight so much more, and it delivered. I hear it, and I hear that argument. That's why I say I can understand if it gets that tag just because of everything else that went around it, which is why I'm trying to limit it to just the action that we got in the ring, because then that kind of gives everything a bit more of an even playing field. But no doubt, obviously, like I said, you get tax if you're the main event. You get bias because everyone's there, everyone sees it, whereas not everyone sees the undercard at times, especially if you're going and you're traveling and you come in late. So I get all right. Philip says it is so far, but the fight was great because both men gave it their all. Okay, I hear that. Freddie Adu was better at it. Mate, Freddie Adu was, it's crazy. Like, he was literally the FIFA and Football Manager sage. Like, he was like a cheat code in all them games, and then all of a sudden he just disappeared. Like, he and between the age of like 16 and I think 19, he was all that anyone could talk about. No, 14. So it was 14 to 17, I think it was. He's all anyone could talk about. Then all of a sudden, just vanished. So, you know. Shout out to James Clifford. Says Smith versus Boatsi, better quality boxing and more evenly matched. Okay, I hear that. And definitely both of them same weight class. I hear you. Better Beer versus Bivol 2 is a candidate as well, right? Yeah, 100%. Like, to me, it's either Better Beef Bivol 2 or Smith Boatsi. But I think I've got it Boatsi Smith at the minute. Ever so slightly. Because there was a little more crash bang wallop in there, whereas Better Beef and Bivol was a lot more tactical and adjustments and nuances and stuff, which is all brilliant. But so you need a little bit of crash bang wallop in there as well. Senior arriving was moment of the. Oh yeah, I don't think anything can top that. I don't think there's anything that will be able to come and evoke the same level of emotion, especially if we're talking about the stadium events. Like, nothing that Dubois and Usyk does is going to compare to that. Nothing that I think even maybe Joshua and Fury do if they have their fight. You know, maybe later on this year if it happens. I don't think that can, overshadow it as well. It was just, again, it's the history, it's the backstory, everything just made that moment something that is generational. What's Veritas saying? There was so much drama that they'll not pass the chance to make a movie about it. I mean, that would be good to see. I can't lie. I'd enjoy that. James, as an event, it's the best so far. Yeah, no, I will give that in terms of like I said, the spectacle, 100%. Freddie Adu on Football Manager was the first purchase for a Premier League club when he was 15, 16, 100%. Yeah, from that 14 on the game he's there, you put him in the reserves for like one season, but you still bring him up, put him on the bench, play him for a couple games, and then 15, 16, he's just a savage. But in real life, after like 17, he just disappeared off the face of the earth. He was Ghanaian as well, like Ghanaian American, I think. We need to pump the brakes. I think everyone got a hard one for that fight everyone got a hard on, I think you mean, for that fight between two Euro bums. Oh, okay. Alright. Well, I'm not saying anything. Who would we cast as the two dads for the movie? Oh, jeez. That's a good question. I'm trying to think. Okay, so who would play? I think maybe Idris Elba could be Nigel Benn. I think he could pull off Nigel Benn's speech and cadence. But in terms of Chris Eubank Jr., I mean Chris Eubank Sr., who could play Chris Eubank Sr.? That's a much harder. I don't even know who you could get. He might have to play himself. Senior might have to play himself in the movie. Because I don't think there's anyone else that can really do that man justice in terms of a role. Not off the top of my head, anyway. Maybe Chiwetel Ejiofor. You shave off his hair, put a little bit of a little darkening cream on him. Um, by the way, Vidal surprised me, made it so easy, made Chev look flat. Vidal won to watch. Yeah, Vidal did very well. I mean, like I said, Canvas ain't really helped much, but I don't know what Chev was playing at. When I next see him, I'll have to obviously speak to him about that. Who is this George Fox cat? What role does he play in Dubois' camp? Is he really Don Charles' son? Is he? Yeah, he's his biological son. I think he's got his mum's name. He's a former. Well, apparently he's coming back, but he's a boxer. 4-1, had 5 fights. 4 4-rounders and 1 8-rounder. Lost the 8-rounder by majority decision. No knockouts, nothing special about him at all, but he's Don Charles' son. And now Daniel's got a belt. I guess he wants a little bit of limelight. Supposedly he's coming back. I see on BoxRec he's got a TBA next to his name, so maybe he's trying to get some publicity before he enters back into the game. Apparently, according to him, he's getting signed by Queensbury, so I guess we'll have to wait and see about that one. And Karma came straight in. The Isla, yeah, it's called them some Euro bums, Karma. It's crazy. But I'm sure it's all in good fun. Man like Jam Down 187, salute to you. Is it time to formally acknowledge that Queensbury is the premier boxing promotion company in the UK? I wouldn't say so just yet. I mean, they're definitely... I think on the strength of the work right now, you'd have to say they are number one, or at least they're leading. But I think the problem with Queensbury, a lot of the time, they have a lot of very, very good main events. Like, they have excellent main events, but a lot of the undercards is... And whereas Matchroom might have undercards with names of people that you know, like, more times than not, you actually don't know who the guys are on the Queensbury undercards. There's like obviously a few of them, like the Barney Royston Smiths and those guys who have now sort of built up that name, but there's a lot of names you just be like, who? And they're a part of the stable, they're on their building process. But I think Queensbury is definitely like the if he was putting it to sort of wrestling, I guess Matchroom is WWE and Queensbury is maybe the AEW, like maybe the TNA. So they got the top stars right at the top, but then the people underneath is like they're good, but they got some work to do in terms of building the brand. That's maybe how I would attribute it. Veritas. Now JC's playing still, even though he says he's gonna stay on my neck. All right, cool. Well, we'll see how long that one lasts. Loaded done for us, he said. Eubank was the Calcium Kid movie. Was in the Calcium Kid movie. He was funny. Was it? I don't even remember that film. I'll have to double check it again. Yeah, Senior would insist he plays himself 100%. I don't think there's anyone else that really could, especially because his look is so distinct. I know you obviously could do makeup and all of that. The only other person who I think could maybe even pull off the that with makeup and everything might be someone like Jamie Foxx. I could see Jamie Foxx maybe doing a good Eubank Senior impression. Man said get Dubois to do it. No, Frank, no, what a scene. Yeah, I know the film, but I can't remember the calcium. I know it. I'd probably have to go back and check. Um, Matchroom decline seems to coincide with the moment Eddie stopped wearing the marital ring. Jeez. Okay. Well, no, I have no idea. Well, actually, Don Cheadle. Yeah. Do you know what? That's a fair shout. I've heard his British accent. You know what? His British accent isn't great, but it's passable. But if you add the little that, because it's almost like that. If you put a little jive turkey into that British accent, you do kind of get a Chris Eubank without the slang. So yeah, maybe that's actually a decent shout. Well done, Lord Don for. I can't lie. If a man called me out for a street fight just because I was debating boxing, I would have said worse than George. Shout out to Johnny Gaffer. Yeah, but the problem is, like, does anyone really believe what George said? And the thing is, if you're really about that life, you don't tell people what you're gonna do. You just do it. I'm not saying that to discredit and say that he can't do what he's claiming, but I can't lie. I've got the Ukrainians in that one. But Idris Elba sounds more like Mandem, not a Cockney. Oh no, I've heard him. I've heard him put on an accent that's a little bit more like that. If you even in what's it called, Hobbs and Shaw, he's not like Cockney, but he sounds a lot more like East London kind of thing. So them, they're from the same bit. So, and remember, at the end of the day, he's an actor. Like, he's pretty good with accents. That scene was the most Eubank scene ever. Shout out to Don Gorgon 78. The event was that good, but the main event was great, and the moments leading up to it was stupendous. Waxy Smith is still number one. I hear that. I hear that. Salute. Johnny Gaffer. KG could play senior if he was in better shape. Oh, that's cold. You can't do that to KG. Besides, KG's like 5 inches taller than him. Like, you gotta get someone with a little bit of height comparity. Basically, you like that Barrios versus Ben fight. I mean, yeah. If it comes on, I will give I'll give Conor Ben's decent odds. Like, I'm not gonna say that he's an overwhelming favorite, but I definitely feel like he's got enough skill to get that job done. The event wasn't that good, but the main event was great, and the moments. Oh, okay, that's what I meant to say. Smith Bawatsi is still number one, and that whole card was great. Was it? Isn't that where Shakur and Padley was on there, and the Damas and Shiraz? I mean, Caballero and Zhang was a dope fight. What was the chief support on that card? Oh yeah, but Joseph Parker and what's his name, Martin Bacoli. Hmm. But yeah, I guess overall it was a better card than the ring card. I'll give you that. I was gonna say Kevin Hart, but he's too short. Yeah, nah. Uh, Senior talks about Christ and bigs up Rastafari in the same sentence. What a confusion. I mean, I hear it, but I feel like when he says Rastafari, I think he's more referring to like the energy as opposed to the actual being. But I'm not gonna proclaim to you know, and maybe just as maybe like the Christ part of him is British, but then the Rastafari is like the Jamaican, and maybe that's more what he's like. It's his juxtaposition. So when he's in British mode, it's the Lord of Christ and all of that, and the C of E and maybe Baptist Church and stuff, like how when you come over, that's what you do. But then when he's on his his stuff, it's all about you know Selassie and all that stuff. If Travis could pull off the Eubank voice, he'd be in with a shout. Again, Travis way too tall. Travis is at 6'2". Person can't be taller than 5'11". In an IFL interview, George said his street team would be AJ, Adelia, and KSI. I mean, it's mad. He's picking three people that they would be like, well, why am I doing this? Like, KSI ain't going. He's not going to do anything. AJ's got way too much money for that. Plus, he's a supporter of Alexander Usyk. I mean, David might do something, to be fair, but yeah, I don't think that team really helps him. Travis and KG are perfect for the roles. No, they're not. They're, I mean, that is the definition of miscasting. Somebody tell Ben he should have kept the hair and beard on fight day. He looked dangerous and badass. Better for film adaptation instead of coming looking like an egghead. No pun intended. Yeah, I mean, he did look a little bit more menacing with the beard, but I don't get that. Why a lot of them do it. It's like they'll have the beard. And it's not like the beard was messy, which means he actually went to the barbers and got the beard shaped up, just to then shave it off on fight night. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense to me, but each to their own. But maybe he thinks the bald head and the beard makes him a bit more aerodynamic. Maybe like punches slip off the face a bit easier because there's no friction there. Don't know. Some people have weird rituals and weird beliefs. If Ben takes the rematch, that will tell me that he's not interested in a proper boxing career going forward. He's not a 160 fighter. I hear that, but at the end of the day, like, there's a contract in it. And besides, even if he takes the rematch, even if he was to lose again, he's still got some years left to go. Little rebuilds, 2-3 fights to get him back into position. You don't get as an immediate rematch or immediate match at a champion coming off 2 losses. Josh Warrington's probably the only guy that can make that happen. But yeah, a couple rebuild fights to sort of get him into contention. But I've always said I think he's gonna have Ben weight, like there was Canelo weight and Margarito weight, and to a lesser extent Pacquiao weight. He might just have his own weight class where he just has fun fights or high level fights within that weight class. I wouldn't be surprised. Ben calling out Garcia for end of the year, so already sounds like he's not committed to the rematch. I hear it, but ultimately, if Turkey says he wants the rematch happens. I don't think anyone's actually got a say. I think it's up to Turkey to decide whether it happens or not. And if what's to be believed about the pay-per-view numbers being like over 1 million, like the rematch just makes financial sense for everyone involved, especially those guys of Turkey that have spent so much money investing in the Riyadh season stuff. So we won't know that on screen, especially the people unfamiliar with the story. Look, I support my boys KG and Travis, yeah, but no, that's just not good casting for those two. They film it like they did the Hobbits in Lord of the Rings. Travis is only good for voice acting of Floyd Mayweather. No, that's not true. Travis has got more impressions than just Floyd, and he's a very good actor. Like, I've seen him in loads of different work, and I've seen him do some stage work as well. Travis is very, very talented actor. Base, what do you say about people saying it was the best Ben versus the worst Eubank Jr.? It was definitely the worst Eubank Jr. I won't say it was the best Ben, because remember, this is a Ben coming off of 100 or what 14 months out the ring. Um, a lot of ring rust, like first time fighting someone like that much bigger than him. But what I will say, it was probably the best version of Ben that was possible at this moment. I think, to be honest, if they had a rematch, I would actually pick Ben again to win the rematch. I think he would do better in the rematch. Because by the time that happens, Chris is going to be 36. Making that 160 is going to be even harder than it is now. There's still a rehydration clause in the rematch contract. Plus, now Ben kind of knows what to expect. He's going to know what the tactics are. He's still going to have that same explosiveness. I think he might turn 29 at that time as well, which is obviously, his prime years moving. Oh, we got a super chat just came in. Veritas Adastro with the €6 super chat. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate you. Much respect. He said KSI would be the cheerleader, apparently. Now, you see, that's mad because, don't get me wrong, I get it, George Fox, big guy, but the fact he ain't got no knockouts on his record doesn't really suggest all that. You can't really be talking crazy about a man like KSI, who's probably got your entire life in his wallet right now. Not even on the credit cards, just in the wallet. So, But hey, shout out to iLucan. Are the two cards this weekend pay-per-view? Yes, unfortunately they are. They're doing a bundle deal though, so if you get both of them on the zone, it's $34.99 instead of $21.99 each. But I'll be real, I don't necessarily mind them being pay-per-view. I don't think they should be, considering the time that they're coming on. But because it's the UK, I feel like we should only be paying maybe like, say, $11.99 for the pay-per-views, or maybe like the bundle is like maybe $17.99 or $18.99, because it's the unsociable hours. We got to stay up till midnight to just start the event. The main events probably ain't gonna start till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. It's a bit unfair, especially after we've just, within 8 days, 3 pay-per-views, almost £60 worth of money. And I know that in America, I think they was pissed that they had to pay for Ben Eubank. I think they had to pay like $25 or something. Karma, tell me in the chat if that's correct, please. If you guys had to pay $25, and obviously that's a lot cheaper than regular pay-per-views. But like, why is Ben Eubank being classified as pay-per-view in America when it has very little relevance to America outside of maybe a viral moment with the X-Lap? But look, if they made the money, they made the money. Philip, he had a show and he did a decent job. Yeah. Frodo, I'm your son. Great films. Yeah, those were dope still. We don't need a rematch. This one was too emotionally taxing. I hear that. I believe it's still a raw diamond whose development was stalled. He has lots of room to grow technically with the right team and attitude. Oh, you're talking about Ben. Today I seen Nova Sports sign Blair Cobbs as their fighter. Man like Blair the Flair. $89.99 in the US when you bundle them together. Yeah, I think they are fifth. Are they like $54.95 or something? No, I think they're 60. Aren't they like $64.95 in the US if you buy them separate? 64 or 54, one of the two. And then the bundle is 90. But I think they had to pay $25 for Ben Eubank. But Karma hopefully can confirm that, unless she's on break. Oh, so okay, $59.99 each. Okay, cool. turn that down a little bit. So, okay, so within the sort of the next 5-10 minutes, special guests will be coming on. Maybe I might get the secondary guest a little bit later, maybe after the match. Um, but we're gonna be going for a couple hours at this point. So yeah, stick with me. As soon as we sort of get past this part, we can refer to and talk about everything else. Also, just while we're here, thoughts on this weekend's the two cards. Do we think there's going to be any shocks, any surprises? Who do you think? Okay, so out of the top three, not saying that any of them are going to lose, but who do you think is most likely or most in jeopardy of losing the fight they've been put in? That's a good question. Okay, Veritas says Banana Lover T.O. is going to lose. I wouldn't be surprised. I can't lie. If I was gonna look at one of the quote unquote favorites, I'd probably lean that way as well. Lopez Barboza is a tough fight. Yeah, and you know what's crazy? It's like I've said it. Like when you watch Arnold Barboza, he really sucks. But it's like his style makes you suck more than he does in the ring, and he just makes you look bad. Oh, 3-2 into back in front. Man like Dumfries. Obi, if Tio ain't careful and takes his opponent lightly, he could be in trouble. Yeah. Tio to lose or win a controversial decision. Okay, so you think no matter what happens in that fight, it's going to be controversial, yeah? Okay, I hear that. All right, so let's change up. Let me change the question a little bit and keep the comments coming in the chat for this one. But of the three fights, which one do you think is going to be the most fun? The most action packed or the most jeopardy or whatever metric you have as intrigue. Like, which fight do you think is going to be that? Tio could be a potential one. I don't know about Devin. We'll have to see. Ryan has no issue with Rowley. Canelo should dog walk Skull. I'm keeping a close eye on the Jack fight though. Oh, what Badu Jack? Yeah, with Noel Gavor. And Richard Riakpor's on the card. He hasn't been announced who he's facing yet, but apparently it's it says it's supposed to be a Mexican heavyweight. I'm just trying to think who. I'm wondering if it might be a Munoz, the guy that Jermaine Franklin fought, and then who else fought him? I think it was Rich Torres. Oh, all right. Okay. 1 second. Let's see. Last couple of comments. Right, but Cody versus FA Jag. But yeah, that's going to be a real live one. I'm looking forward to that fight. You think Ryan and Rolly's gonna be the fun fight of the night? Okay, cool. Night was Dumfries scored the third goal. Bacolia Jagba should be fun. Okay, cool. All right, look, ladies and gentlemen, the guest of honor is now here in the building, backstage. Gonna bring them in shortly. Now, for those of you who don't know, so I originally saw this young lady about 2.5 years ago. I think when she was two, coming up to 2-0. I saw some footage, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna keep an eye on this one. Very talented, very aggressive, as you know we like in the women's division, and the nickname is very apropos. So the babyface assassin, and we're not talking about Shannon Courtney. Like this is a real babyface assassin right here. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome in the one and only Guadalupe Lupita Medina.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. How about yourself?
I'm well, thank you. I'm very well. How was training? 'Cause I know you've been training today. Like, how's things been going?
Yes. Yes, today was sparring day. We did 10 rounds. This was our last session of doing 10 rounds since my fight is in 2 weeks. So, yeah, it was great.
So you're fighting on the 17th, right?
Yes.
Okay, so before we get into that, because I want you to tell everyone all about that, but before we do, I just want you to let the people know just a little bit about you, how you kind of got started in the game. You're very young, so obviously, you've been interested in boxing from a young age. But yeah, just let the people know a little bit.
Yeah, so I started boxing at 9 years old. I kind of just followed along my brother's footsteps. He joined the boxing gym first through my dad. And boxing has always been a part of our household. My dad has always been a big fan of boxing. He used to be an amateur himself back in Nicaragua. So we would watch Alexis Arguello on film, Julio Cesar Chavez on film. So boxing has always been like in the household. And obviously, as the only daughter, my father did not want me to box. That was like his biggest no. You can do any sport but boxing. And I don't know. I kind of just started following my brother's footsteps. Whatever he did at the gym, I would kind of go back home and do it myself until I actually convinced my father, like I actually want to do this. And yeah, ever since I stepped foot in the gym, it's been nonstop since then.
How was you able to convince him? Because if he was that dead set against it, what did you do? Did you give him the daddy? Like,
Literally every single day. That's the first thing. He would come back from work and I'm like, "Can I join the boxing gym, please?" And he was hesitant. And the first thing he told me was like, "Okay, you can join, but as self defense. Like you're not gonna fight, you're not gonna spar." And I was like, "No, like I actually want to do it. Like I really, really want to do this." And he was stuck on the no, 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 and a whole year of convincing until I turned 8. That's when he was like, okay, maybe she does want to do this. I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna let her do it. And my first sparring session, I did get beat up. I'm not gonna lie, I did get beat up by a little boy. And my dad thought like, okay, that's over. Like, good. Like she's not gonna go back into the gym. But I was like, no, like I'm going back into the gym and I'm gonna go beat that little boy up. Like I need to get my vengeance back. And he was like, okay. So I think he saw the grittiness in me, like the persistence. So yeah.
okay, so when that kind of happened, yeah, and you was in there, did you think, all right, if I had an easy time with this, maybe I wouldn't have been as interested? But was it the fact that because maybe you're competitive and okay, you got beat up, no, 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 I have to beat you up now, and then that's kind of the way that you get that out?
Yeah, I think it was more of like a challenge for me, I guess. Like I got beat up, I'm like, all right, like it's not gonna bring me down. I'm just gonna come back. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be stronger. And I think I love that. Like the challenge in boxing, that every day there's growth, there you can grow in so many aspects and it's not just in the ring. So I love that.
So for the people who obviously haven't seen you, and the majority of my watchers wouldn't have. Although, as I did say, I showed you, I have had a video, and I put you in that video from 2 years ago. So I've
It's
been
been a
trying to
while.
champion you. Um, Tell them, like, I would assume that you're gonna say, "Look, I'm my own person. Like I have my own style." But who are your influences? Who would you say you're most similar to for someone to have some comparison?
Yeah, honestly, I think I would say Sinisa Strada just because in before I turned pro at 15, that was when I stopped competing in the amateurs and kind of just focused on the pros. She allowed me to be in her camps and be her sparring partners. So I kind of took a little bit off from her style because I was so young and going into the pro game. I would say Sinisa Strada.
Okay, and so you're orthodox as well. Do you? Oh,
I'm sorry, my dog is being
it's
annoying right
okay.
now.
It always
Okay.
happens. It's fine.
Yes.
What type of
Sorry.
dog is it?
He's a mutt.
Oh, because I'm actually looking for a new pup myself, so I'm interested when I see people now with the breeds. I'm like, all right, let me see which one I wanna get. But all right, but no, back to you. So it's very hard on this side of the the ponds to see your fights. To be fair, like they're on UFC Fight Pass on your side. It's very sort of difficult for us to get them. I think we might have to look on Fight TV. So I've had to resort a lot of the time to just waiting for the fights to be over, checking some
Yeah.
YouTube, trying to find some Daily Motion. Like I'm proper going through the grind to try and get this footage. But what would you say is like, not maybe not your signature, but what do you do in the ring that you feel like proper encompasses Lupita Medina?
Honestly, I would say that I'm very well rounded. I can fight backwards, forwards. I can fight as a lefty as well. My lateral movements. So I think it just depends on the fight, obviously. Like if I know you can't withhold pressure, then I'm gonna pressure you. If I know you can't really do well with lefties, then I just might fight you lefty the whole fight. So I think that's, I guess, the beauty of my style of boxing is you don't know what to expect each fight. It kind of just switches up.
Okay, now first four fights of yours, and I remember I did see these, like you was getting those knockouts, those knockdowns, you was getting those stoppages.
Yes.
It started to dry up a little bit. I just wanted, in your opinion, because obviously I know that you actually enjoy that part. Like you want to basically be very conclusive in the way how you finish these fights. What do you attribute it to, as to maybe why, since that fourth fight you haven't really had any more stoppages, even though you've hurt these girls? I've seen you hurt some of these girls pretty badly,
Yeah.
but they managed to survive. What do you think? Do you think it's the 2 minute thing? Do you think it's maybe a inexperience of not cutting them off? Like, how do you uh rectify it in your mind?
Yeah, honestly, the 2 minutes do play a huge part in it. Like, for instance, my last fight, I hurt this girl, but if we needed that extra minute, it could have been easily a finish. And as well, my competition is after my fourth fight, my competition has been going up. Like, my last fight, we fought a girl that was ranked for the WBO. The previous fight, we fought a girl that was an ex world title contender. So these girls are veterans. Like these girls are really good. I'm young. So gaining all this experience right now is what I think is very important. Getting all my rounds in. And I mean, the knockouts can come out later.
Sure, sure. Well, look, you've won 9 fights. You're about to have your 10th fight now. You're gaining, like you said, a lot of experience, a lot of former world champions, veterans. So you're actually getting a lot of that elite level sort of ring craft. But
Yes.
when do you think you will be ready to challenge for titles? Because let's be, you are young, so there's absolutely no rush. But everyone likes the now, 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 and I trust you to be very sensible. But when do you think, all right, title season, let's go?
Yeah, so I mean, we've been offered world titles since last year, actually, but we've kind of held it off just because we weren't even at 8 rounds yet. We were still at 6 rounds. This will be my second 8 round fight. I'm hoping by the end of the year or the beginning of next year is when, we start looking for that world title. I feel I'm ready. My team knows we're ready, and yeah, we'll slowly start just getting each belt in the category.
Okay, so in because you're minimum weight right now.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, so I know in minimum, if I'm correct, wasn't Sunisa down there, or was she at light flight?
She was
She was
actually
both.
minimum.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
she retired as undisputed. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. And your Costa Vice, I know she's got a belt there at the minute. In
WBC, yeah.
in looking at the actual the minimum weight champions, obviously we're talking a couple years down the line, but who do you feel like maybe you match up the best with as your maybe your best potential to possibly get a world title when you reach that moment?
Yeah, thing with Yokasa Valle, I actually helped her out in the beginning of my pro career, so I know her style pretty well. But I feel like that's a money fight that's like gonna be waited until towards the end.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't see her being my first world title fight. I wouldn't see her being my first world title fight. If anything, um, I would think it would be either Sarah Borman, which is a German.
Hmm.
She has a WBO, or Sol Kudos, which is an Argentinian girl, which just got the IBF.
She
Either one
won
of those.
the vacant title, right? She had, yeah. I saw. I didn't see the fight, but I remember hearing about that one.
Actually, I do not agree with the scorecards at all. She did get dropped in the fight, and somehow she still ended up winning. But uh, boxing is politics, so
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that is the game. Um, Speaking of politics, again, you're young, but I'm sure that you've experienced some of this at the moment. Have you had any situations already where you're like, okay, so they told me about this, now I'm hearing it. Like, has any of that sort of popped up for you just yet, or have you been a bit fortunate so far?
yes. So my last fight, I was supposed to actually fight for the WBC Youth World Title, but we were told that since it's my first 8 rounder, I wasn't allowed to, and we're like, okay, like that's a good reason. That's a good reason. And then the next day, Yokasta's sister ends up fighting for the youth world title, even though she's never fought for 8 rounds before either. So we were like, okay, what the heck is going on? Like, you could have told us like we don't want to give you the opportunity, which is cool, but don't say we haven't fought for 8 rounds and then you let someone else fight for the world title, even though she has never fought for 8 rounds, or alone she hasn't even fought, I guess, a girl up to her level or at that level yet. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I think that's definitely a namesake thing.
Yeah.
That's probably what that one was. Okay, so well, we're on the path right now. Who would you say is actually no? Let's talk because I don't even want to talk about other people. Let's talk about your opponent coming up on the 17th. That's what I like to do. I like to. How much have you studied her? What is it basically that you've got to really prepare for in that fight?
Yeah, so what's crazy is in the beginning of my pro career, I sparred so many veterans and world champions, which has helped me obviously become the fighter I am today. And she was one of them. Like, I was actually helping her out for her camps and everything. She has fought big names. Gabriela Fundora went the distance with her. Sinisa Estrada, she got stopped. She got knocked out by Sinisa, and she went the distance with Yokasta Valle as well. So this girl has good names under her belt. Like, she's a veteran. And I think it's perfect. It's the perfect step up fight that I need to kind of just be able to differentiate myself from a prospect to a contender
Contender.
now. Yeah,
Okay,
we no longer want to be a prospect anymore. We're looking into becoming a contender. So I think she's the perfect fighter for that
I hear. That. If I'm correct, she also didn't she fight Annabelle Ortiz as well?
as well. So yeah,
Yeah, just.
really girls. Yeah.
Okay, so look, so if you get through this one and get through it well, look, she is a bit older, but that's a lot of experience that you can take from. So, all
Hmm.
right, I'm gonna see if I can find a way to watch this fight live. Um, all right, so I want to ask a few things for you, maybe outside of boxing, because look, it can be a bit of an all-encompassing sport. It can be very it can be a bit soul destroying at times. It can be very lonely. It's a solo sport, which for some people is great because they're like, okay, if I win, it's because I did it. If I lose, it's because I did it. But is there what do you like to do outside of boxing to maybe take your mind away to give your mind that mental reset and that break so that you can go back in fresh again?
So I'm actually a full time college student. I go to Cal State Long Beach. I am going to transfer to LSU, but I'm a full time college student. So obviously, right after the gym, either I go home to study or I go straight to school. So that kind of helps me, keep my mind off of boxing, keep my mind off of social media as well because being on the phone is not too good. Yeah. So yeah. Other than that, I'm a homebody. I feel like every athlete after having a long training session, you kind of just want to reset, be home, do nothing, eat and sleep basically. So that's kind of how my life is. Yeah.
Okay, what do you study?
Business marketing.
Okay, so okay, I see the route after boxing now. It makes sense. So, if you can confirm, you are you currently managed by Keith Connolly?
By who?
You managed by Keith Connolly or Tom
No.
Love?
Yeah.
Okay,
Tom Loeffler is my promoter. Yes.
okay, promoter. That's correct. Sorry. So with that, now I was going to ask with because obviously you've been out there, you kind of market yourself quite well on social media. From what I've seen on Instagram, there's a few other fighters that I know that follow you. Obviously, a lot of the women I know you like to stick together, but I know Sandy Ryan seems to be quite a sorry, Shannon Ryan seems to be quite a big supporter of yours. Um, with regards to like the women's game at the moment, how do you see it? Because it felt like it had this big boom period, and
Yeah.
then it almost like it's maybe gone into a wave where it's petered down a little bit more. At the top end, there's a lot, but then in the middle, it seems to have kind of dipped a bit. How do you feel sort of the state of things are going at the moment?
Yeah. So I think the difference between women and men especially is the lack of supporting each other. I always kind of see it like you can fix someone else's crown without losing your own, you know what I mean? And I think that's the reason we're kind of just stuck, like it's kind of just paused a little bit because we're not really supporting each other. Like if you see men, usually they be posting one another, they be commenting, they be reposting, they be sharing, and women aren't really like that. It's more of like, oh, like I don't want to post you for some reason, which is cool. But I think that's where we're lacking, supporting one another. But I mean, that's how it is.
Okay. So when I guess with kind of that in mind, what's your thoughts on the sort of I guess the MVP resurgence with the women's boxing and them doing this second all female card? Well,
Mm,
I think it's the third one altogether because I think Boxer done two of them in the UK. But yeah, they got this all female card, big Netflix platform. What's
yeah.
kind of your thoughts on that, and do you think that's a good springboard for the rest of the women to now sort of shine and show what they can do?
Yeah, I feel in the beginning, women, it's hard for women to be on cards. Like it's very hard to try to convince a promoter, like, hey, like, can we get on a card? It's usually, well, as of here, it's like you need to be able to do ticket sales, obviously, and that's how they'll put you on a card. But it's like people aren't gonna come and buy tickets to your fight if they don't really know you. You need an opportunity. You need to start somewhere, obviously. So MVP doing that to a lot of women is great. There's a lot of world champion women that are super good, but they're unknown. You don't know them.
Mm.
Like they're not unknown, and obviously they're kind of just under the radar. So I think this is very great for women's boxing.
Cool. I mean, and with regards to that, again, you said Tom Loeffler, your promoter. I think we do get a few of his things show up on the zone over here, which is lucky. But I mean, have you and him spoken about trying to get maybe like a joint promotional deal with a MVP or a matchroom or a top rank, or has any of those conversations happened, or are you kind of happy just going along the way it is at the minute?
So, 360 Promotions, I don't know if you've kind of been keeping up with their
Hmm.
social media. They actually just signed a deal with Turkey.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
missed that one.
so that's like very huge, obviously, for us that are under the promotion of 360. And yeah, I mean, obviously, I can't say too much, but it's gonna be great.
Hey, or maybe I guess you don't need those others. Fair enough. Well, no, shout out to Tom Loeffler. I know he's going to do right by the rest of you. Okay, so I won't take up too much more of your time. I do appreciate you coming on, sharing a bit of your story. I
Having me,
guess
I know you trying to get on me for so long,
very,
but
very. But you know
rarely
what? But no, but
request.
you know what that is. That means like persistence. It does pay off for people who who put in that graft. And I think it's a life lesson as well. Maybe we don't always channel it in the right place, but if you want something bad enough, you want to speak to someone bad enough, you want an opportunity bad enough, you keep at it.
Yes.
Eventually, you'll get to the right doors. And also, I had help, so I also do have to shout out Christine, Coach Christine, because when I saw you on her channel, I'm like, okay, maybe if someone could just put in a word, maybe it would get it there somehow. And then I managed to do the little sneaky thing with if you comment on someone's story, they get to see it because once you do a request, that very
Mhm.
first request, you can't put anything else until someone accepts it. So the only
Yeah.
other way to go through that is if someone posts something, you can comment, and that somehow goes through. So lucky. You got to be creative. There's still some others that I'm working to speak to, but want to keep it back to you. Um, who do you who do you watch? Who are your like fighters of choice?
Number one, Bam Rodriguez.
Okay,
My number one fighter. I absolutely love his angles, his IQ, like it's his power. Like there's so much to say about that little guy. He can punch a he has like so much power for being that weight class. So I would say Bam. And number two, I do love to watch Boots Ennis just because he can switch as well, orthodox, southpaw, and I like to do that. So I do love to watch him. And Caleb Plant. I love Caleb Plant as well.
okay. So let's go in reverse. What do you like about Caleb Plant? What's your
I think he's very slick, like he and very calm and composed. You know, he's very well under pressure, and I love that. So I like to take that away from him. Yeah.
okay? Boots. You said you liked the angle, switch it. You saw the Stanionis fight. What was your thoughts?
I think it was a great fight, actually. Um, there isn't really much I can say about that.
Okay, okay, fair enough. And talking about Bam, they've just signed for the unification with Fumalele Kafu. How do you see that fight going?
I think Bam's gonna take it honestly. I think his experience, he has a lot of veteran background as well for being such a young athlete. So I think that's gonna be a key factor to this fight, you know, and obviously his power. Like his power is kind of crazy for being that weight class.
I hear you. All right. In terms of the women, who do you not so much maybe not like, but who do you sort of watch of the women? Who do you support? Either in your weight class, somewhere close to yours, or who have you maybe got your eye on to say, all right, I want to keep my eye on you because I know me and you will be seeing each other soon. However you
Yeah,
want to answer that.
no, I love this girl from the UK, Caroline Dubois.
Uh-huh.
Style is amazing. I can not go to sleep and stay up to watch her fights. Like that's a girl I'll be like, okay, I'm tuning into her fight. Like her style is amazing. Mm, someone near my weight class. Well, obviously I keep an eye on all the girls. I'm currently ranked 7, so all the girls 1 through 6, I keep an eye
Mhm.
on all of them. And if I
No,
I know if I know they're gonna fight, oh, I'm tuning in. I need to be watching that. Kind of like
no.
so kudos when she won the IBF the vacant title. I
Mhm.
obviously was watching that, which was the day after my fight. I fought and she was fighting the 23rd, I believe. So I was in the hotel room watching the fight, doing some research.
Oh, so
Um,
you guys is almost on the same schedule.
yeah, right.
Fun
um,
fact about Caroline, sorry, just before you carry on, like she doesn't live far from myself, and we are Capricorn siblings. Her birthday is the day before mine, so shout out to Caroline
okay.
Dubois. Yeah, we
Was
talk we
she
talk about that all the time, anytime I see her. So
Yeah, I love to watch her. Like she's amazing. Like her style is very unique and very composed. She's very down the line. Like her punches are very precise too, which I do love.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Bit controversial. I know that there's been a lot of talk. As a lot of people feel like Caroline is she's ducking Beatrice Ferreira for that unification bout. What's your opinions on that? If you even know the backstory, but I need to get your
Honestly, I haven't heard the backstory.
okay. So essentially, the whole thing is Beatrice has called her out. Eddie Hearn promotes Beatrice Ferreira. Ben Shalom promotes Caroline Dubois.
Yeah.
And basically, she's just lets look. I want to fight you because Caroline has gone to try to fight Terry Harper before Terry Harper, Rhiannon Dixon, and Beatrice is like, well, no, we're two Olympians. Let's fight. And Caroline's like, well, we can do that fight later. So people are saying oh, because she's basically trying to take quote unquote the easy girls and not the hard, not the the other Olympian like herself that maybe she's ducking. So I figured since she's one of your favorites, if you had any insight or had any thoughts on that situation.
I feel like honestly, as for me as well, it's kind of like saying if you were to fight Yoka Savaye right now, it's like these are money fights. These are fights you want to wait a little bit. It's worth the waiting a little bit, and then both parties are gonna leave satisfied. Women's boxing, there's not a lot of money involved. There is now more than ever. So I think the waiting period kind of kind of makes the water boil, kind of makes the beef, I guess if there's any beef, grow a little more, and it's gonna at the end result to a better fight and obviously ticket sales as well.
But in that waiting period, some people would also then say, "Well, you're trying to age that person out because obviously your Costa is much older than you currently, and Beatrice is much older than Caroline. So some people might say, okay, if you want to wait 2 3 years, all of a sudden now that person's 36, that person's 38, 39. You're trying to give yourself more of an advantage rather than fighting them when you're both in your primes, supposedly." As a pushback, what would you kind of say to that as a counter?
See, when people say that, I always be like, respectfully, like Yokasta is not in her prime. Like she's peaked a while ago. Respectfully, like she's not in her prime. um, so I think if she can hold her ground and she wants to continue boxing, hey, that's on her. Like nobody's forcing her to keep continuing boxing at that age. So yeah.
Okay, no, you know what? I respect it. Okay, so I want to get your opinion on a couple fights, then I'm gonna let you go. So fight
No,
just on the weekend we just had here in the UK, Conor Ben and Chris Eubank Jr. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but if you did, sort of what were your thoughts?
I didn't have the chance to watch that fight.
It so far they're calling it possibly the fight of the year, so you might want to check it out after your
Okay.
fight, of course. Go
Yeah.
lock into your camp, then come back and watch that in a couple of weeks. All right.
Okay.
We've got this weekend coming up. You got Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero, Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez, Tiafimo, and Arnold Barbosa. Any thoughts on those fights? Who do you kind of see winning those?
Honestly, I think Teofimo's taking it, Ryan's taking it, and Haney's taking it.
Oh, so all of the A sides, yeah.
A sides, yeah, that's how I see it. Like I feel like it's kind of gonna be a clean sweep for everyone,
Oh, nice.
especially for Tito. There's I don't categorize Arnold Barboza and Teofimo Lopez to be kind of in the same level. Like there's obviously levels to this game, and I don't think he's on the same level as him.
Okay, all right. That's
Yeah.
gonna be interesting. We might have to talk about that after the event. Okay. And then on the Saturday, for the first time ever, you got Canelo Alvarez outside of North America, Mexico. He's fighting in Saudi, Riyadh, but it is taking place on US time, Eastern and Pacific.
Yeah.
So him versus William Skull, what's your thoughts? Do you think we got another, he's going 2 times undisputed, or could there be a shock upset somewhere?
I think he's gonna go 2 times again. As well, I wonder how it's gonna play for Skull because I know they're doing it. It's the time they're doing it is 9 p.m. Mexico time. So obviously Canelo's fans can watch it. So the time difference, I don't know how that's gonna
So
affect
that's going to
Skull.
be about 9 o'clock. I think it's about 9 a.m. Um,
Yeah.
8 9 a.m. in the morning. But to be fair, because Skull is primarily based in Germany, Germany and Riyadh very similar time. They're only a couple hours apart. So the only difference is going to be the adjusting to the sleep pattern. But it's so hot over there. Most people are sleeping during the day anyway, and you kind of
Oh,
do
okay.
everything at night. So it shouldn't be too difficult. But yeah, I can
Thought it was
understand.
actually like the time. I was like, I wonder
I
how
think,
that's gonna.
to be honest, I think the time would probably affect Canelo a bit more, just in terms of because he's never been there before. It's like Skull's
Be
been in those regions. He kind of hasn't. But all right, interesting. Okay, I will leave it there for that. I just want to give you basically last words. I want you to basically just tell everyone, obviously, how they can watch the fight, US, UK. Just give them a little backstory on that part, and then also your socials, any of them that you use. Please just let the people know so that they can follow you and keep up with the journey.
Yeah. So for my fight, it will be live streamed through UFC Fight Pass. It is subscription based. I believe it's $7, $8. On May 17, they should start transmitting the live around 7 p.m. PST. I don't know what time is that over there.
Okay, 8 hours behind us, so that's like 3 in the morning.
Oh, but after the fights are live streamed, they do stay on the platform, and you can catch either that fight or any of my fights. And yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at underscore babyface assassin.
Okay, brilliant stuff. Well, look, listen. By the way, because I just want to check which name do I do Lupita? Do I do Guadalupe? Like, or Guadalupe?
Everyone has their own preference. I don't mind either, to be honest.
Maybe
I don't mind
maybe I'll call you GLM.
GLM. Okay.
Okay,
You know
cool.
what? My initials are Jim.
Okay, all right. Maybe Jim is the nickname then. So we do that. Oh, because your middle name's like, is it like Yomiro or something like that?
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay, well, look, you can tell I do my research.
I was about to say you do your research.
Well, look, no, thank you very much for coming on. It took 2 years, but I hope it won't take 2 years before we speak again.
Yes,
Um,
no.
Truly appreciate you. All the best for the 17th. I'm gonna do my best to lock in. Everyone in the chat, I want you guys also to lock in. Follow this young lady's journey because I do think it will be special. Do you have plans of moving up weight classes? Like, where do you think you will end in your career?
I think 115. That's
Okay,
my cap.
super fly.
I do
Okay,
walk around 120. That's like what I try to walk around. So when I cut weight to 105, but yeah, I do plan on moving up until after I catch all the belts and then just go from there.
Well, hopefully by the time you get to 112 and 115, Gabriela Fondora has gone up to flyweight. She got up to featherweight at that point.
Oh yeah, I feel she can take on a lot of weight classes.
Definitely. Well, look, enjoy the rest of your day. It's nighttime over here, but it's right in the afternoon over there. So enjoy. We will chat to you again. All the best and speak to you soon. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you guys.
Take
Bye.
Right, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you guys very much for tuning in to that. I found that incredibly insightful. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. We're gonna stick around for a little bit longer. I'm sure there's chats and stuff that I've missed that I need to get to. Got a couple hours. Maybe we won't go for a couple hours as such, but yeah, we've I'll say at least half an hour to carry on. Um, Right, Don Gargan from about 30 minutes ago. Appreciate you. Says Ryan and Rowley could for both could touch the canvas. Okay, so you think that could be a fun fight? That guy, shout out to you. Um, has really learnt that much from Eddie in a short time. The most intriguing fight is Haney's Get Back versus Ramirez moving up. Okay. Um, yeah, definitely not her, Philip. Um, North Bank. Okay, with the fire emojis, JC with the fire emoji. So clearly, JC knows who Miss Jim is. Veritas salute. So yeah, guys, there was no looking at. The only way I would have seen the chat is if super chats came in. We was fully engrossed. Please ask her where she gets her power from. I saw a clip of a trainer struggling to hold the pads. The power can send people to them. Yeah, she's a little spitfire. Um, the WBC contradicting themselves. Never. Shout out North Bank. Um, Ask if she has any future opponents that she'd love to face. Okay, so we kind of did touch on that. Thank you for the comment. Um, Great question. I'm not sure which one that was, but thank you. I tried. Um, October Reds Guadalupe and cousin. uh, um, that funky cold Medina has to be a ring walk song. Sorry, guys, for anyone who was asking the questions. Right, what has found the most challenging aspect of turning pro, and have you found okay, so she kind of touched on that. Maybe not as direct as you'd like, but hopefully you got a bit of the answer you wanted there. Again, apologies for anyone who asks questions. um, Star Fox, come on, behave. um, Another question, what she think of the 3 minute rounds okay, so she kind of touched on that she would have liked the extra minute. Women don't age until 50. um, that's the worst pickup line I've ever read, brother. I can't lie to them. 50 is when they fall off a cliff. Oh, that confirms your real name isn't Richard Reactor. Big up Babyface. Can't be calling you Jim, not gonna lie. Well, it's GYM, man. It's proper Jim. So, which she stays in, which makes sense. Okay, but no, look, everyone, if you please, if you can, definitely follow her on. She's on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. I don't think she's on. I think she might have a Twitter X account, but I know she don't use it. I know she's very, very far removed from Twitter. I know she doesn't really like that, and a lot of people. Shannon Ryan is the same. She doesn't use that either. So I think they find that a bit too toxic. So Johnny Gaffer, great interview. That's how it's done. Appreciate it. Thank you. And also when it's over Zoom, I have to be mindful to not talk over people because mics can sometimes cut each other. That's one thing I've learned. So in person is a bit different. Sometimes you can jump in a bit more and have more interaction, but yeah, when it's over over like the Zoom and EV Marks and StreamYard and stuff, you gotta kind of let people have their time. But no, I truly enjoyed that conversation. Like I said, it was 2 years in the making. That was great. Appreciate it. Thank you. Brilliant interview. Thank you very much. Are you doing any watch alongs? Yeah, I'm gonna do all three of them. The Inoue one, luckily because it's Bank Holiday Monday, yeah, so I definitely will do that one. I'm gonna do all of them. So I'm gonna do Times Square on Friday. I'm gonna do Canelo Saturday, and I'm gonna do Inoue Sunday. So yep, you can lock in for all three of those. Did you know Thierry Henry is Guadeloupean? Yep, I did. Okay, two hailing each other up. I do now. Thanks, Tony, for the random Arsenal facts. All right. Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do, give me 1 minute. All right. I'm going to see if I can get another guest on before we wrap up. So bear with me a moment. Let me just put this on mute. So for those of you who didn't just hear what I said, overlay. We're gonna see if we get another guest on now.
Nutty on the buttons.
Okay, can't get them on the phone at the moment. So what we'll do the next time we have a stream, maybe on the weekend, I might be able to get them to come on. I know that they're a bit busy for the time being. Um, it's the only reason I didn't put any names in the graphic, didn't put any names out there because I wanted to try and you know, I wanted to that one to be the little surprise of the show. But with that being said, um, I'm gonna go for like another sort of 5-10 minutes. But we're putting on the we're gonna put on that walk off music, as I like to call it, from now. You can get it to repeat maybe once or twice. Um when Star Fox saying, what's that damn bases watch along extravaganza? Well, look, you know what? Because I haven't been doing enough episodes and stuff recently. I just haven't had the time. So because of that, I need to make sure that you guys have got content. I need you guys to, and sometimes I just need you guys to keep me entertained while I'm watching the fights. So yeah. Philip says, "Is it Napa?" I mean, it might well be. You never know, Philip. Uh, Big up at done for. All right, what's Tony saying? I was lucky to visit Guadeloupe and Martinique with Nicholas Anelka back in the 2000s. Tony with the slick name drops there. I hear you. Aubameyang is also Guadeloupean. He's Gabonese, according Tony says. Okay. Tony out here rubbing shoulders with Anelka. Yeah, I mean, Tony knows everybody. Like, man, Tony's the only person I know that's got a little black book with everyone's picture but no one's number. Like you go through Tony's phone, he's got pictures with everyone but can't chat to nobody. By the way, Tony, when I finish come off the stream, I'm gonna call you. We can sort out a date for this sparring. Probably it's gonna have to be towards the end of the month, closer to payday, but or second payday, I should say. Anelka was one of my best pro football friends. He did a lot for me. Tony taught Clinton how to play the sax. Doesn't get the credit. Oh, okay. Which fight on the Rhea season card are you excited about? So if you're talking about the the Ryan Garcia one, probably Devin and Ramirez, because I feel like that's the one with the most intrigue. If we're talking about the Canelo card, it's actually probably Badu Jack and Noel Gavor. And then Bokoli and the Jagba second. And then interesting, whoever Richard Riakpo is facing. Tony says, behave. Yeah, I'm going to shout you. I'm going to shout you shortly, Tony. Don't worry. I need to get back in the gym. These 2 days a week ain't enough. I need 5 days minimum. Although I did so well when I was on holiday, I was basically in the gym every day. But since I've been back, I've been in the gym twice or 3 times. Staff was his base trying to inherit Tony's black book like Carlton from the Fresh Prince. Tony said, "Give it to you if it's outworking with sparring." Oh, I think I got more stamina than Tony, to be fair. Even at this age, he's probably comfortable. But he's gonna try to play close to the chest because he's comfortable in the pocket, so he don't have to move. He's talked about how he's got the legs and that, but he likes to stay close, so he doesn't have to move much. I like to kind of find my range. I only get in the clinch when I'm ready to finish. So, we'll see. It's gonna be filmed anyway. I don't know whose channel it's gonna go on, but maybe we'll do an exclusive members only live stream of the footage on this channel. And then maybe like the week after we'll put it out to everyone else. Tony gave blueprints to the open line. Oh, Tony, they're questioning the age. They're giving you the Luis Ortiz treatment. I just done a wicked session at Peacock. Okay. All right, Tony, shout out to you. No, bro, Tony looks like one of them strong uncles. I'm backing Tony. Okay, so look, we've got a couple minutes. So any last comments, anything, get them in now, and then we'll close this one off. But it's been a great live again. Thank you very much to Guadalupe, Yamera, Medina, aka Babyface Assassin, aka Lupita. Incredible chat. I look forward to the next one. Base is clearly studying my training footage. Well, you post so much of it. What do you want me to do? Not look at it? Got to study the opponent for the weaknesses. See, you don't have weaknesses on me yet. You got to figure it out at the moment in the gym. Whereas I already know what you're gonna do. What's Tony's fighting style? He's a herky jerky. He fights a bit like Tevin Farmer, to be fair. Oh, they want to know how much you bench, Tony. AKA Jim, that's right. She's in my top 5 females. And she's just turning into contender status. But look, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for for being in attendance. I appreciate you all. Always appreciate the love. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, all that good stuff. I will catch you on the next one. I'll give you all basis picks, free videos, and a watch alongs over the weekend. But until then, peace.
Maybe I'ma make it, maybe I'm not. In time we'll see. But who better than me? I don't care if you agree. I ain't saying that I'm better than anyone, but who better than me?